So now I'm going to show you what is the exercise that I'm hoping that you guys will be working on. And so we're going to use this footage here. So what I want to do is, if you look at this footage, you're going to see this sign as it approaches. I want to replace something else on this sign. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a good place to start it, where the thing is kind of way in the distance there. Maybe we'll start it like around here. So let's make this our edit point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a comp with this guy here, and let's go ahead and double click it and find a good place to start it. Okay, maybe we'll start it around here. Okay, make that our edit point. All right, so and then it'll end. The trick here is you have to cut after the sign moves out of frame. That is the requirement. Okay, so that's going to be your end point, and we'll make that the end of our work area by hitting the letter N. All right, so let's go back to this layer here. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to say Animation, Track in Mocha. All right, so that's going to launch Mocha. And we are going to say OK. And so now we are in Mocha. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a nice good frame to start on where it's nice and clear. So I'm going to select my spline here and just kind of be generous on the outside of it. And to close the path, I'm just going to go to that original dot and click on it, and that closes it. And so the planar here is showing me that it's flat, and obviously there's an angle here. Also, make sure perspective is turned on, because we are actually changing perspective here. Okay, so with this on here, now we're going to go ahead and adjust the planar. All right, and try to get it to be on all these four corners. I'm looking at that window on the left side of the frame there. And if I want to see the plane, I can see that here's the angle where the camera is in relationship to the object. Let's go ahead and turn that off for now. All right, so that is at this point in the frame here. So what I want to do now is I want to track backwards. And let's see how it does. So far it's doing pretty well. Okay, and it stopped where I made my edit point. And notice that there's this red part here where it still needs to be tracked. So let's go ahead and select that layer, because I accidentally clicked off of it. And we'll go over here, and we're going to track, make sure you're in some place that has been tracked. And we're going to track forward. And we're going to see what happens when it goes out of frame, because this is usually where things get a little bit hairy. See, there it goes. Okay, so we got to deal with that little part here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to first go into our adjust track, and we're going to call this our reference, set as reference. And so now we're just going to click in various portions and compare how it is. Okay, so the current frame looks like it is a little bit off, and so we can kind of adjust it to make it fit. It's so far away here, I'm not going to worry about it. And let's go to another portion of the frame. I'll say auto. And we're just going to pick a few places. Let's pick a couple of different frames here. Okay, and when we get to this part, here's where things get kind of problematic. And so here's how we're going to deal with that. So here we're going to go one frame at a time and watch what's happening. And here's where things start to go a little bit off. And so I can now go to the current frame and make the adjustments. I'm looking at the right corner, so I'm going to go ahead and make that adjustment there and the adjustment here. Hopefully it's just a few frames so we don't have to do all that much. And again, let's look at the current frame. And let's see here, we're going to change that up a little bit. And we'll go another frame. Way off here, so obviously we got an issue we got to deal with. Let's start with the top one. And we'll go another frame. We probably don't have to go very far here now. And when I go one more frame, let's go over here, move that one over here, move that one over, one more frame. So I don't like doing all these keyframes in this tool, but in this situation it was having a lot of trouble, so let's go see. Now it should be out entirely, so we can just get it gone. All right. So now let's go ahead and hit play and let's see if it's following it. All right, it's looking pretty good there. And so now we're going to create our replacement. Insert clip, import, choose, and we're going to select whatever it is you're going to use. I'm using the zombie crossing and say import. And now let's see how it's going to look. Look at that. So much better than what we can do in the After Effects tool alone. Zombie crossing, we're going to change that to none. I'm going to say with this layer, make sure your layer is selected, say export tracking data, copy to clipboard, go back to After Effects. Okay, and we're going to have to get, here we also have to make sure the zombie crossing is going to be in my layers, otherwise you won't be able to apply it. Okay, so let's go ahead and make sure it's in here. And I'm going to select the zombie layer and paste that data, and let's see how that's looking. Oh, I didn't see, I made a mistake there. I pasted it with the playhead not at the beginning, so it didn't put it in the right place. So I'm going to put the playhead at the beginning and repaste that. And let's go later on in time and change the anchor point. If you recall, that was what we have to do to get it into the right place. Don't change the position. If you change the position, then you're going to screw up all your corner points that Mocha has exported. Okay, so now let's do a pre-render, see how it's looking. All right, that's pretty awesome. I'm happy with that. Now I could color correct it so it's not quite so bright, because everything else kind of looks muted. So maybe I'll just quickly do like a effect and preset and say this is going to be hue and saturation. Let's go ahead and apply that to that layer. And notice that, by the way, the corner pin, that's the information that came from Mocha. And so maybe I want to bring down the saturation a little bit so it's not quite so hot. All right, and so that looks a little bit better for me. Look at that. I love it.